Hey, welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. And we want to keep this series going. We're talking about the top 10 prospects in each position. And today we're talking tight ends. And this is a position where you kind of look at the Steelers roster. You may say, excuse me, you may say that the Steelers are set at tight end. I mean, you got Muth and you got Darnell Washington. But then to be honest, after that, that's it. So I think this is a position that um the Steelers could definitely add a person. And I think one of these top 10 guys that I'm about to go over, um, I think any of these guys would be fair play. Now will the Steelers go high in the draft for a tight end? I would think not, but you never know. And that was one of the things that we talked about last night on Smash the Gas. I think the Steelers are. I'm really not going. I kind of feel like they're up to something, and so I think the Steelers have identified who they really want to get in the first round. I truly believe. I'm not gonna say it's a tight end, but you just don't know. You just don't know. Like I say, it's always opening there that they could and I really think they're going to draft a tight end again. This is one of those positions that I think they kind of need. It's not a major position that they need or a major need at this point, but these guys get hurt, and like I say, you lost Hayward, so um, it's an opening there. It's an opening there because I do think the Steelers probably will carry three tight ends. Um, so you just never know. You just never know. So with that said, let's kind of get right into this and see what we come up with. All right, so these are my top 10 prospects at the tight end position. And starting it off right now is number 10, Eli Reardon, tight end from Notre Dame, 6'6", 245 pounds, 4.62 in the 40. This is a kid that got good hands. Not so much of a not so much of an inline blocking guy. I think he's more of a receiving tight end. But again, this is a guy that maybe the Steelers could get late. You know, use one of those fourth round picks, fifth round pick. It's a possibility that he'll be there, and this is a good guy to bring in. Uh, Now, my only thing would be with Hayward, which was basically your third tight end, played a lot of special teams. So I don't know if they would want to deem that position as that guy as a special teams guy. I mean, I'm assuming maybe these guys could play special teams. I don't know. Um, but just as far as being a third receiver and working with these guys, coaching them up, you never know how good he can get. So this is the guy that I think a late draft pick. He'll be worth that pick. He'll be worth that pick. And you read here, um, like I say, his blocking is kind of suspect, but he's more of a receiving tight end. But this is a guy that I can see the Steelers using a fifth round, maybe that second, fourth round pick if they feel like they wanted to go and get another tight end. My number 9 guy, Oscar Delp. Um, this kid got talent. 6'5", 245 pounds, ran a 4.49. That was surprising. And I think this is a kid that probably is going to go. I don't really, I don't really think third round. He's probably going to be about a third round pick for sure. So I don't really think that's going to be in the cards for the Steelers. I don't think they would want to get a tight end that high, at this point. So I don't think he would be a guy that the Steelers would would be looking at. But and actually, to be honest, I didn't give him. I did him wrong. I probably should have had him ranked a little higher than what he is. But this is a good receiving tight end, good speed. Um, you know, went to the did good in the offseason workouts, and as you can see, he you can flex him out wide. He's a matchup problem with against slower linebackers and safeties, and he has the size to outmuscle a corner. So this is a guy that's gonna probably go fairly high in the draft. So I don't really know if he's really gonna be in the Steelers' wheelhouse because, like I say, I don't know if the Steelers are want to commit that type of pick for him. My number 8 guy, excuse me, Joe Royal. Um, again, a nice size. He's 6'5", 247 pounds, 465, 40. Again, another receiving type guy, another receiving type tight end. Not so much of inline. That's the one thing that's going to be kind of hard to find, and I think that's one of the values that Darnell Washington brings is you just don't see too many inline tight ends anymore. I mean, it's a few out there, but most of these guys now, they want to be flexed out and basically played as big receivers, and I think he's one of those guys that you flex him out and you can definitely play him as a big receiver. So as you can see, needs to work on his hands placement and his leverage, especially at the point of attack. So blocking. So basically, like I say, and that's going to be for all these guys. They're going to have to really work on their blocking because as far as catching the ball, they got that part, but it's all the other little things. My number 7 guy, Justin Jolie. 6'4", 241 pounds, a 4.71 speed. Again, another guy that you can put him in the slot, and you can even line him up as a receiver. Like I say, a lot of these guys are catching the ball. That's not the issue. It's just doing the other stuff. And like I say, most of the time, most teams, what they're doing now, they having the receiving tight end and they having the blocking tight end. But I mean, the ultimate thing is to get a guy that can do it all. So that way you're not tipping off your plays to the defense because a lot of times when the defense see this guy, they know more than likely we're passing, and then when they see the other guy, they're running the ball. But Jolie, he's a guy that like I say, making plays, catching the ball is right on. I mean, you see right here, his receiving ability is real. He tracks the ball well downfield. It's just gonna be the other little things that you're gonna have to work with him. And some of these guys are just not blockers. I mean, now they say he can line up attached in the slot. Yep. So he's just a big receiver. He's a big receiver, and like I say, you can flex him out to wide receiver. So, um, this is just a guy. Like I say, mostly all these guys, all their bios basically gonna say the same thing. It ain't too many of these guys that's gonna be an inline blocker. Jack Enrus, again, another guy. Let's see here. I'm sorry. Another guy, 6'5", 245. Another receiving. He's another receiver type guy. Great hands. So it's just almost what you prefer. What you prefer to have, with these guys. I don't know, you know, can they develop into blockers? Probably so. But like I say, I mean, the game now is getting receivers out there, getting more receivers, as many receivers as you can out there running routes. And that's what it's kind of turned into. And as you can see, most of these guys, that's what they are. That's what they are. All right. Now, here go a guy, very interesting guy here. Michael Triggs. Um, I think he can be a very interesting guy here. I think 6'4", 240 pounds, but I kind of think he kind of brings a little bit more to the table. I think. I mean, you can line him up. Like I say, you can line him up as slot, um, and get him matched up against a linebacker and all that type stuff. But this kid has a wingspan that's like unbelievable. So those you know end zone fades and all that type stuff. He's definitely gonna be that type of target. I mean, I can see this guy catching a lot of touchdowns. He's just he's an athlete. He's an athlete. So again, is he a guy that the Steelers would reach for? Probably not, but he's also a guy that in the fourth, fifth round, um, he's still hanging around. I would have to consider it. I would definitely consider it. Um, So all right, as moving on. Now this is probably the biggest tight end that's coming out. Sam Rouse. Sam Rouse. 6'6", 267 pounds, 4.7, 40. This is a kid. Now, you always hear about this where a guy goes to the combine and either make some money for themselves or lose some money. Well, this is the kid that went to the combine and made him some money. This kid made him some money. At 267 pounds, he posted a 38.5-inch vertical, a 10'6" broad jump, let alone running the three cone drill faster than what Kyle Pitts did a few years ago. I mean, this is the kid. He's very athletic, very athletic. He can now. His thing was just didn't get a lot of passes in Stanford because Stanford runs the ball so much. But this is a kid that he shows he to be a big guy. He's athletic. Now we love Darnell Washington, but I'm gonna be honest with you. This kid here, Still not as big as Washington, but if he can get his blocking together, he's going to be a very, very interesting guy that I think a lot of teams, especially teams that pretty much don't have too many holes and just want to take a chance on a guy. I mean, because you getting a big guy that, especially if you can get him, to become a good blocker, um, this is a guy you can leave on the field. You don't never have to take him off the field. I mean, because he can stay in and block, but then also you can flex him out, or he just just coming out of his regular tight end position and make plays. And he's shown that he's an athlete. I mean, he's already 6'6" with a 38.5-inch vertical. That's crazy. So this is a kid that I think he went to the combine and made him some money. And I could see him being like a fourth round pick. Somebody grabbing him in the fourth round. All right, Max Claire. Um 6'4", 246 pounds, 4.70, 40. Solid guy. Solid guy. Played at Ohio State. So with those receivers, he just didn't get a whole bunch of targets. And then with the guys that he played with, when he did run routes, he was wide open. I mean, just because everybody's dealing with the Tates and all that, and kind of forgot about him. So when you look at his film, I mean, he made some big plays because he just be wide open. So I don't know. Again, not a guy that I could see putting some major um draft capital into. Eli Schroeders from Vanderbilt, 6'4", 239, 4.51, 40. Good again, another weapon. If you're a team that's looking for a weapon and feel like you need a weapon from the tight end position, this could be your guy. This is a kid that I think probably is going to push himself into the late third, early four. He's not an inline guy. He's not going to be a guy that's going, if you're looking for a blocker, then he's not really the guy that you want. But he's a weapon. He's definitely a weapon. He's just a guy that can he like the question is, can he hold up against NFL edge rushers? That's just gonna be something that he's gonna have to, try to figure out, get stronger. But as far as catching the ball, getting in the seams and making big plays, he's your guy. All right. And so going into the number one guy. And this is a kid that just may be there at 21. I don't think the Steelers will go that route, but he's a player. Now you talking about having a weapon? Kenyon Sadat, 6'3", 241, ran a 4.39. He could do everything. I mean, he can catch the ball. He's athletic. He can block. So again, this is the type of guy, he can stay on the field. He ain't got to come off running plays and all that. This kid is a monster. And honestly, if the Steelers was to draft him, he's coming in and being number one tight end off the rip. I don't know what they would do with Muth. Muth probably get traded or something, but this kid is coming in and he's starting from day one. So any team that's take him, this is a big time weapon, big time weapon. Yeah, could the Steelers use him? Absolutely, they could. But again, don't think don't think he's a guy that the Steelers would use a number one draft pick for, but somebody will. He's going in the first round. Like I say, especially one of these teams that doesn't have a lot of holes and want to get some more athletes out on the field. This is your guy. So, with that said, that was really the tight ends. Again, not a position that at least as a Steeler fan to be excited about, because I don't really think the Steelers are into the tight end market. I think it's a situation where they can grab a tight end, but it would be something later in the draft. So with that said, that is it. I hope to see you guys tonight at 8:00 when we have our mock draft that the chat is gonna take. The chat is running it, so we're gonna see how good the chat can do. So with that said, you guys take care. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.